Good morning, afternoon and or evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is David Game and today's video is how does Tales of Berseria play on the PS4? Okay, so I've been playing Tales of Berseria for the past, nearly 4 days maybe? If that. So we didn't get it quite as early as some people. Like, I'm looking at Colin Moriarty's post on Twitter right now, and he got it on the 9th of January. So again, just bear in mind that the reason I haven't completed it at the moment is because it's a huge game, and I've had it for 4 days. So there you go. These games, you'd hope they'd come in a little bit earlier. But anyway, on to the more positive notes of Tales of Berseria, because it is actually a good game and a huge improvement over Zestiria, in my opinion, at the moment. First off, the character designs. I had a big problem with the character designs in Zestiria, and this time they've been rectified. They're very vibrant. Velvet, in particular, is a very good-looking character design. The cape and the there's a fan service to it, but I wouldn't call it just that. It's pointed out to be like her feral nature, and the transition from the start to that style. And again, I don't want to get too spoilery here, so you ain't got to worry too much about that. But mainly Velvet, but Aizen as well. I believe Magilu is cool. Rankaro is interesting. The one thing about the character designs is they all feel like they've all come from completely different places, which I actually prefer in this, because in Zestiria everyone felt a little too uniform to me. Well, Mikleo and Soraya obviously came from the same place, and the whole thing just didn't sit well with me. But yeah, these character designs are pretty good so far. I've got, how many characters now? 5? So I've just got my extra party member from the 4 that you can use. So they all look good. Again, speaking on this, and we're moving into the visuals now, the game is noticeably a PlayStation 3 game. We've moved on leaps and bounds now, and Tales keeps showing how far behind it is, and as the years go on, this is getting a little bit worse. And it doesn't look bad. I mean, I like the look of it, but there's a distinct difference between the characters themselves and the environments. The environments feel a bit flat compared to the characters, and if you zoom in on the characters, you get some very plain textures. Look, again, I'm not that technical, but yeah, the visuals, we're starting to get to the point now where Tales, just as stylish as it can be, it's not on the same level as like Persona, where the art design can truly mask the lack of power behind it. So I think Tales, as much as I like the Tales of art style, I really do want them to step it up with the next game. Hopefully the next game is going to be built from the ground up for PlayStation 4, because I think Berseria was still like a remnant of the time when Japan wasn't sure about how consoles were going to go. But, I could be wrong entirely, and maybe it's just the way they want to do it, or all they can really afford to invest into it. The game looks absolutely fine. It performs well most of the time. I'm trying to think if I've had any hiccups yet. No, it performs pretty well throughout. So, all in all, it looks good. The anime cutscenes are obviously tremendous, they always are. But, it's the actual in-game. While the characters look fine, and actually one thing in particular is the transitions into battle have gotten a lot smoother. Some of the battles between characters that aren't full-on cutscenes, they actually come across really nice. There's a couple at the very start. The very start of the actual game after the intro sequence. There's a clash between a couple of characters, which surprised me. I thought they wouldn't be able to pull off that kind of animation there and then. It can get a bit cheesy, can get a bit Matrixy in those moments, but it still looks pretty good, but it is noticeably PlayStation 3 era. Moving on to the voice acting, I'm playing with the English dub at the moment, so I can't speak to the Japanese, but the English dub mostly is, it's good. It's good. There are a couple of things, I do believe, and this is me not being able to see an IMDb list for this at the moment or anything, but I do believe it's Christina V doing the voice for Velvet. Velvet's transition, Christina V handles quite well. I think it's more the character of Velvet, who, while I like her, she's very dour for most of the game so far. It's so much so that it needs to pay off at a certain point. And if her dourness doesn't... she seems to be developing over time, as these characters will, and obviously it's a large game, but I am worried that maybe it won't stick the landing at the end. So Christina V's performance after the transition to Velvet's, demon form, which you've all seen by now, so I'm not counting that as a spoiler. When Velvet goes through the transition of her early life to the demon form, she gets very dour, very somber, very Lightning from Final Fantasy XIII, except she has the intro sequence to back up the change, and it feels more believable than Lightning did. That said, I do hope that this comes to some sort of head at some point. Then you got the supporting characters are cool. Aizen, Laphicet, the Rankuro. Magilu is a standout. Magilu is the comic relief in a way that's not frustrating. There is a character later on who is the voice on that character. The reason that they chose that, I do not know. It suits the character, but it's so annoying to hear. And I don't want to say the character because I don't know if it would be classified as a spoiler. It's later on in the game that you actually get this character. So, moving on from the voice acting, which, as I say, is good, but I am curious as to where it's going to go, and if it's... I hope it's not one note throughout. Oh, actually, there is a note. Rankuro... there are moments with Rankuro where it's really expressive and good, and then there are moments, most of the time, where he sounds very flat. So that's just my opinion on that. Now on to the battle system. The battle system is quite interesting, actually. It has each character can be controlled as they tend to always have been in the Tales of games, at least to my recollection. In the battle system now, there are 4 stages to a combo, and each stage has a button assignment from, for me, it's on a PlayStation 4 pad, so it's X, square, circle, and triangle, and each stage of the combo can be assigned to a different move for that button. So you could press square, square, triangle, circle, and you could still pull off 4 different moves, because stage 1 for square is different to stage 2. So you should be seeing some of that now, but you can't really tell what I'm doing on the controller. As I say, I'm kind of pre-recording this bit, and then I'm just going to splice in some gameplay videos so you can see what I'm talking about. They also have some new scouting missions, which is like a real-time send a ship out to go and investigate something, and they'll bring back goods, recipes for cooking. Cooking is back in a good way for this game. I prefer the cooking approach in this game to most of them, actually. The auto cook ability, as long as you've got the ingredients. There's some cool stuff in here with the way that it gives you stat boost through that, which cooking always did. But yeah, so the ships can go out, and weirdly enough, every ship mission as you level up still takes 30 real-time minutes, and that passes even if you pause the game. So that was a nice little test for me to do. I just put the game on actual pause, which pauses the in-game clock, so it doesn't overclock your JRPG timekeeping. You know, I don't know about you, but I get a bit anal retentive about, I want to know how long I've actually spent in this game, not how long I accidentally left it open. So if you press the options button on the PlayStation 4 pad, it will actively pause the game, but the ship missions will go by like your system clock, so that'll just carry on every 30 minutes. You will gather the stuff that came in, it'll tell you how many fights they won, how much they're leveling up, and if you got some new skills, new food, new things to sell. You can get a lot of junk to sell from that kind of thing. So all in all, the pirate missions, these scouting missions, are pretty cool. I have to say, when we're going back to the systems, the battle systems, we're talking about like the world map. The world map it seems easier to traverse than Zestiria did. It seems like they've condensed the areas, not in a way that feels too short, but like to fit how many characters they can put on the screen. And now in battles as well, they've brought back the ability to link enemies in fights, so the floor will turn dark as you engage more than one enemy, and the enemies will be a higher level, they'll give more XP. There are various difficulty levels again. You've got moderate. I'm playing on, I think, moderate, which is just above medium. And honestly, it's quite easy, so I would recommend anyone that's experienced with Tales games at the moment to play it on maybe hard. You get less XP, so it'll take longer to level up, but I do believe you get a bonus. Actually, I might be playing on hard. Do you know, honestly, I'd have to take a look. But either way, there are various difficulty levels going so far all the way up to intense. So I imagine that'll be quite a challenge. I'll do that when the inevitable New Game Plus turns up, because there is grade in this game. Once again, that's a Tales staple. Grade, for those of you that don't know, is the ratings of your overall performance in the game that you can then spend in a shop after you've completed it to unlock carryover items or double XP, triple XP for your New Game Plus, which, if you're trophy hunting, makes a second playthrough a lot easier. Not even easier, just more enjoyable. You don't have to do as much of the grind as you would in the initial game. Which, to be fair, there hasn't been much of a grind in my game at all. I haven't lost to a boss or anything yet, so yeah, I haven't hit a wall yet, and I don't know if that's going to happen. Moving on to my final thoughts. These aren't the definitive ratings for Tales of Berseria yet. I still have to get through a fair amount of content. As I said, we received the game on the 21st, I believe. So yeah, I've had 4 days. No, if that. No, sorry, not the 21st, the 19th, I believe. So we've had about 4 days to sort that out, and this is essentially what we've come up with. I'm where am I at? I believe I'm about 15 hours into the game, maybe 20-ish. I'm around there, and things are picking up. Velvet's character's starting to develop. We are reaching not a climax, but a clear dividing point, like, you know, a very important plot point. I believe we're coming to now, and yeah, it's a slow burn. This game is the opening to the game takes a while, and that helps to develop Velvet's character and her rationale. So when she does start doing the things she's doing, you can understand that, rather than I prefer that methodology. Get that up front rather than waiting till, you know, later, you know, get the lightning style, oh, she's a badass, but why? And then we have to wait 40 hours to find out that really it's not that big of a deal. So, no, I like the fact that we got the Velvet story in the beginning, and now we're playing out her attempt at revenge. And one quick note on the censorship of the game. I watched the scene that was censored in particular on YouTube, the Japanese scene. What they do, covering that up, is actually worse, in my opinion. Not as in, like, worse as in it's bad to look at. Yeah, actually, that's what I mean. It's worse to observe what they do. And again, it would be a spoiler to tell you, so if you want to look it up, go look up the differences between the start of Tales of Berseria in Japan and our censored version, which, in all honesty, not that big of a deal, still has the same impact. Yeah, it's fine, but I actually think that if they would have kept it the way it was, it wouldn't have been as bad. So that's just how I perceive that situation. Anyway, I've been David Game. Thank you for watching. You can find the review probably about Friday-ish on mygameslounge.com. I'm going to continue with Tales of Berseria naturally because I want to finish it, and so far, way better than Zestiria. I prefer the combat system, I prefer the characters, I prefer the designs, the voice acting, pretty much all round, it's better than Zestiria so far. But where does it really... You know, I can't give a proper verdict on this in terms of the other Tales games until I complete this. And again, this could fall completely short, or it could rise to the top, I don't know. These games very much live and die by their, you know, middle to end game, and I think I'm only just about reaching maybe the midpoint. Anyway, once again, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you soon. I've been David Game. Take care.